What's up, y'all? I just finished doing me a workout on the inside, so I'm just kind of cooling off, and it looked like it's supposed to rain. It sort of like drizzled a little bit, so I put my ferns out here on the steps. And some of y'all asked me what do I do to keep moths off my ferns. Well, I haven't seen any moths on them, but I just water them once a week and mist them. And of course, if it rains, I just set them on my steps and they get all that good old juicy rainwater, and they do beautifully. I put them in the front, and of course the ones in the front and in the back, you know. So it's supposed to rain through overnight, so I'm gonna just leave them right on over here so they can get what they're gonna get. And this is my workout bra by Carrie Underwood. I love it. But anyway, y'all, I wanted to just pop in and say, hey, stay tuned for content this week. I'm a topic, you know, I'm gonna pull a topic that you all left me and talk about it once a week. You know, it'll be a much longer video, but I did want to talk about something that that I have just witnessed on here on YouTube. And basically what it is, you know, back in the day when I first started watching YouTube, you know, I'm still a girly girl at heart. I still love watching makeup tutorials, makeup videos and stuff like that whenever I have, you know, a chance. I can remember back in the day when Jacqueline Hill and Makeup Geek and Time the Infamous and, you know, Carly Bible, when all of them were doing makeup videos and tutorials. And there's probably some other ones, and Jackie. So I used to watch Jackie, and just all what was that other one? What was her name? Goddess. Oh, anyway, so I used to love and still go over there every once in a blue moon, and I go over there to the makeup sector. And I was just catching up on some stuff, just trying to see where everybody's what's up, what, you know. And I saw where Jacqueline Hill is shutting down her brands, and I was like, oh wow. So I watched her video, and I can remember it's been some years back where she came out with her lipstick line or lip gloss line, some kind of lipstick lip gloss line. And there was it was a controversy, and the launch didn't go as she thought it was gonna go, and there was some defects in the lipstick, and I think she got she didn't respond as a business owner should respond to perhaps her customers and consumers. So I can remember a little bit of that, but it seemed like it was either right before COVID or right when COVID around that time, or it could have been a little bit before. But anyway, so anyway, as she's saying all this, I'm being reminded. I was like, oh yeah, I can remember all this stuff went down. But here's what I took from what she was saying, because I know a lot of people think that she stole somebody's name for her brand and now she's shutting it down or whatever. And I thought, I didn't get into the weeds of all that, because a lot of times if I like watching someone's channel, I like to watch it for what they're offering. Like I said, her different makeup looks, eye tutorials and stuff like that. What they do in their personal, you know, that ain't my business. I just like to go there to get those, you know, to get the makeup look, you know, it looked good. So I didn't get invested in most of those people like that I just named off that I didn't really get invested. If you know, if they shared something about their life, I'm a viewer just like y'all. Come over here and view what I do, and you know, that's their personal life. If it's not for me, I ain't gonna go into the comment section and get all, well, I don't think you. Look, people living their life, you know, and people have to understand too, when you're also a content creator. Now, I personally don't do that, but you know, you have to play the game. You have to do things that will draw your audience, that you might, as they say, clickbait. It's part of the business of being a content creator. for me, and I don't knock anybody who does that, because I think I may have done a clickbait maybe 1 or 2 times on my channel. But again, it's just part of the business part. Everybody knows that sometimes drama sells. But again, for me, I don't do that. That's just not what I'm known for, right? But you know, you have to have little catchy thumbnails and catchy titles, because you want people to click on your video. Again, that's just the name of the game. So as a content creator, we know this, and we know that that's part of what we do. But whenever I was listening to her, I thought, you know, I can understand what she's saying, because she said, you know, that had been a dream of hers, to do her own makeup line and do all that stuff. And so now here it is. When YouTube came along, she had an outlet. She had a platform where she could do that and be creative with her makeup. And then she came out with a makeup line because she saw, you know, Charles and Patrick Star and all these people, amongst others, doing and creating their makeup line. And so she said, oh my gosh. And she said, you know, they're being lucrative, and social media is a big platform to do and launch your business if that's what you want to do. So she said, you know, she saw all these other people doing it. So she was like, you know, hey, I want to do it too. I want to do it too. So whenever she did all that, and she confessed, she said, you know, I was doing all that stuff because that's what they wanted. And I saw other people doing it, so I felt like that was something I had to do. But she said, you know, that was one of the reasons, just to summarize it, that she's just shutting it down, because she said, you know what, I want to get back to creating content, being creative. And she said, and just hanging out and talking to her audience, and developing, quote unquote, I guess, friendships and collabs on YouTube. Because she said, you know what, I don't want to be a brand owner. She said, you know, that was something she thought she wanted to do. But she said, you know, at the time it served its purpose. It was part of her dream, she said. And she admits the way she handled her business was not the best. And so, you know, when a person come out and just confess, and like I said, I don't remember all the details in the weeds. Maybe you all have followed her from day one and you know all the gaps of what happened. But I got to thinking about that too, because I don't know if y'all remember when I had shared with y'all that I was thinking about doing some cups and maybe some t-shirts, you know, little stuff like that. And like I said, I am in business. I am in corporate America, and I deal with all spectrums of, you know, it's not my product, of course, it's the corporation I work for, but you know, you have to see that that product gets delivered, see that it gets ordered, make sure the pricing is right. And you do. I'm on a lot of conference calls and stuff like that. And yes, it can be rewarding if you have your own business, like she was saying in her video. It can be very rewarding, but baby, trust and believe, you're gonna work. And she said, you know, she just got to the point where, you know, she didn't want to be on 10 Zoom calls a day. Because one thing about when it's your business and it's your baby, oh yeah, you got to care for it. Just like if you were to have a child, you're going to have to care for it. And a lot of people who are not on the business end, see, we just go to the store and get what we want. Or, you know, and get what we need. And sometimes we might think about it. Okay, somebody had to make it. Then it had to be put in the box. Then it had to be input in the computer. Then they got to get on the truck. Then somebody got to make sure they pick up the load on time, make sure they delivered on time. Ooh, they had a car accident, so now the load ain't gonna get there. Ooh, it ain't gonna make it for the launch date, and so all of that stuff. And if you're the owner of that business, you got to keep up with all that stuff, you know. And then if you've got, and she even admitted about how she had a staff who's nothing but a bunch of yes people. So she was just talking a little bit about that, how that can be kind of dangerous and detrimental to your business when you have a bunch of yes people, but you don't have people that say, hey, I don't think we need to do that, because they're dependent on their paycheck, so they're going to do exactly what you say. So she said, you know, it's just a double-edged sword, pretty much. So I thought about that, and like I said, even with me, and I thought about that after I looked into doing all of that. And yeah, there are companies that can help you get your product out expeditiously, but you're going to pay. And I sat back, you know what? I've spent most of my life working corporate. And again, nothing wrong with it. It's just, you may not be that person. Everybody may not be an entrepreneur. Everybody may not be a brand, have their own brand company. And it's okay. That doesn't mean you're a failure. It just means that, you know what, I thought this is something I wanted to do, but no, not really, because it's taken away from me being creative. It's because I'm having to do all this other stuff to keep that machine going. And now I'm not happy, because now I got to get up and fight them to get to this Zoom call, because I got to meet with this vendor. I got to get up and get on this. But again, it's one of those things where you have to count the cost. So I get it. And I thought about that even with me. And I know that's something that I wanted to try to bring to you and my audience, because I know y'all like my different sayings, and I can put that on t-shirts and stuff. But I thought about that thing. I thought, you know what, Tanya, do you really want to be bothered? Because like I said, I'm on the other end of it. And I know the work that goes into it. And what I do, it ain't my company per se. It's a company I work for, and they have blessed me to have a good living and make a good living. But at the same time, I'm thinking, is that something that you want to do after you perhaps retire from this job that you're on? Do you want to continue that on, even though it's yours? And again, yes, don't hear what I'm not saying. It's rewarding, but again, it's just not for me. So that's why I won't say never, but I've kind of abandoned and shelved it. Let me put it like that. I've shelved that niche, because again, see, I like the way she confessed that thing. See, everybody else was doing it, so I wanted to do it. But again, you have to be careful with that and say, okay, just because everybody else is doing it, doesn't mean it's going to be lucrative or prosperous for you. You may not have the temperament. And I've said that. Even with our walk with God. That's why he's got to be our personal Lord and Savior. See, what you may be able to handle, he may say, look, you can't do it that way, Tanya, because your temperament's not going to allow you to do it that way. Whereas these other folks over here, they'll be able to handle it. You ain't ready to deal with a customer that's coming at you a certain way. And like I said, she confessed that thing. She said, you know, she messed up. The way she handled the consumer and customer complaints, when them complaints, because you figure now you're sensitive, that was your baby. And I can remember when she launched, it was like 16, it was a whole bunch of lipsticks. But baby, honey, a lot of that stuff had some defects, and honey, the complaints and the refund request was coming in, and she just didn't handle it well. And see, that's what I'm saying. It's not that she's a bad person, but you got to be ready for it. And like she said too, she said, yeah, because see, when you start getting hungry and that fame, and like I said, I'm not saying this to be discouraging, but you know thyself. And that's what I thought about. I thought, you know what? Even though I have a business degree and all that, and I work corporate business every day, I thought to myself, nah, that ain't something I want to do. I mean, I'm just being honest with you. I thought, I don't want to keep up with inventory. I don't want to keep up with, like you said, being on all these different calls every day throughout the day, dealing with, And like I said, and there are people who thrive and they love that. They don't have a problem doing that. But just like, you know, there are people who have lawn care business. Honey, now that's a job. They get hot and all that stuff, but they love it. They love being out. Their office is outside. Whereas you got people who like to work corporate inside of an office. That's what they enjoy doing. There's a job for everybody. And that's what makes it awesome and makes the world go round. But one of the things and one of the questions that was asked about, you know, what do you do? How do you choose what you're passionate about? That was actually one of the questions that was asked on, you know, a topic to talk about. And I'll expound and elaborate on that in a separate video. But again, it's again, find out what you're passionate about. And if it's a way that you can make money and make it wealthy, make it your wealthy place, by all means, find out things that are passionate to you. And everything, and again, knowing, hey, do your research. Go out there and look in the area that you're going to be servicing. Is this something that is quote unquote needed? Is it going to do well? Because a lot of people say, oh yes, we love you, love. But that don't mean that's going to translate over that everybody going to buy your product. They love to, like I said, on here on YouTube, you love to come up here and do this. Because I can remember whenever Trisha Paytas, when she came out with some products, I want to say it was some perfume, like lotion and perfume. It didn't do well, but she was one of the hottest things going on YouTube back in the day, and she's still very popular. But you understand what I'm saying? But she's progressed on and got married and got a baby and all that. And I used to watch her all the time. But what I'm saying is, even as much as her fans loved and liked her, because I mean, did we not like to watch the drama? Well, I'll speak for myself. I did. We wanted to know. Remember when her and Sean were going through their stuff? I was just like this. I confess it. It is what it is. But you know, at the same time, I was watching her and I was praying for her. Really and truly. Even though she was doing a bunch of fool-la-la. But that was her life. But anyway, what I'm saying is, and again, she was very proud. Has millions and millions of subscribers. But her stuff didn't do very well. Whereas some other stuff that she might have collabed, and she may bring people a whole bunch of views when she collabed with them, did fine. Because her core audience, they weren't really interested in buying her perfume and lotion. They were interested in seeing her drama play out on YouTube. They were interested in seeing her when she did her little music videos and she started doing little tours and stuff, and her and Sean would dance. She had a core audience, and that's what they wanted to pay for. They weren't interested. So that's why I said you have to know, even though, you know, that was her passion. And so when she danced and did her little videos, that was her passion. She was very lucrative in that and got her name out there even the more. But again, so again, about your passions and knowing what is it that you're passionate about. And like I said, do your research and find out, how can I do that to make that my wealthy place? And again, like Jacqueline was saying, she said, you know what, I thought I wanted to do this. She said, but you know, hey, I swam in that lake for a little bit. But she said, you know, and then she talked about, I can remember she talked about that she was, you know, an alcoholic. She had addictive behaviors. And so she had to say, decided to shut all that down, because she said, you know, that could be a booger bear. It could draw you back into those bad habits. And so I applaud her. Like I said, some people may like her, some people ain't studying it. Some of y'all probably don't know who the heck I'm talking about. But I did want to just pop in and just talk about that, because we can be passionate about a lot of things, but how does that translate and create wealth for you? And then if it does create wealth for you, how are you going to be able to handle? See, you got to know how to go into a thing. And those things that you're short on in your mind, in your heart, you know, there are some people, it's just the truth. They'll get into something and all they want to see is the money, but they don't want to put the labor in to get the money. You know, me and one of my co-workers, we talk about that all the time. Sometimes you have to talk about and have to go through the labor pains and deal with the labor pains. You can't always just be, oh, show me the baby. No, yeah, the baby, when the baby's here, it's all wonderful. But baby, you got to know how to walk through them labor pains. You got to know how to, you got to know how to breathe through some things. You're going to have some bumps in the road. And again, don't get so enticed. Ain't nothing wrong with being inspired. Ain't nothing wrong with, you know, being encouraged. But just because you see everybody else doing it doesn't mean that's for you to do. But don't stop dreaming. There's nothing wrong with dreaming, because like she said, like Jacqueline Hill said, she said, you know, I had a dream since I was a little girl to be able to do this. But she said, now I've got to the place, it doesn't make me happy. And you know, here's the thing about life. This is why I tell people. People act like you're not allowed to change your mind. And of course, you know, because I'm a content creator, I went into the comment section. Of course, you had folks tearing her up. Say, oh, that's just an excuse. That's an excuse. I don't know what it is. Sometimes we as a people, it's like we want blood. We want guts, blood, and glory, and goriness. But if a person truly is, I mean, we don't know these people. But she said, you know, I just want to get back to making content and just, you know, connecting with you, the audience. And ain't nothing wrong with it. Just like me, I love coming out here, I'm jacking. I love it. I can do that very well. And I hope that I'm saying something that encourages and inspires you and causes you to pause and say, you know what Lady T was saying was right. Maybe I need to approach that different. That's what the Lord has sent me with my jaw-jacking mouth here to do. To be able to uplift and encourage. I don't expect you to understand or believe in everything you see me do. Like I said, some folks believe that I shouldn't be listening to secular music. And I'm going to do a video on that. I've done one on that. Secular music is just that. It's just that music which is not edifying or talking about God. That's it. But it doesn't mean that it's a sin if we listen to Carrie Underwood or a nice old Earth, Wind, and Fire song. It's what defiles you. Now, if you go and listen to Luther at 10:30 at night and call Ray over there and you're not married and you slang both of them legs wide open, then that act is a sin. Oh, can we get, see, y'all don't want to talk about that. But if I'm rolling down the road and I'm listening to a commercial and I'm singing my all them commercials we sing about certain food or a certain place and Disney, all that is called secular. Half the musicians that play for Marvin Sapp and all them, guess what? They also on Saturday night will go and go into the recording studio and record with Babyface. It just is what it is. Now, am I saying that, hey, that's, you know, but again, it is what defiles you. Because if that's the case, I don't want nobody to watch another soap opera. I don't want nobody else to watch another movie, another show. And there are some people, if it bothers you, if you feel like it's going to do something with your salvation. See, I have a God that I know that has the power to keep me. But if you think listening to secular music is a sin, just don't listen to it. That ain't what the Lord told me. See? And that's all that it is. It's a way to separate, to say, hey, this is God. Just like, you know, we've talked about this at my church. You know, look, when pastors and all them, when they got married to their wife, they won't listen to, oh, I'm going up yonder, yeah, I'm going. No, guess what they put on? They had on Luther. They might have had on some keys. So yeah, they won't sing it. They won't having that music playing in the bedroom when they were consummating with their wives. Come on now, come on y'all, just, you know. But again, let me just say this. You work out your own soul salvation with fear and trembling. If you believe, oh my God, that it is a sin, just don't do it. But you can't put that projection on somebody else that they just love. Like me, I love jazz. It reminds me of my dad. I love listening to the different strings and the different horns and the different stuff play. God created music. Oh my God, are you kidding me? But I think when we are thinking about things, we think everything is one way and one way only. So again, going back to the Jacqueline Hill situation, people have the right to change their mind. And you know, you have to, the progressive shift in life, everybody gets older. Everybody learns. My God. You know, sometimes I read comments just because, again, I'm human and I want to see what folks are saying. It's amazing how we forget that people get older, they get wiser. We don't enter into this earth as infants and know everything and know how to make decisions. And as we know better, we do better. As life comes our way, guess what? me sitting on this porch talking to y'all now at 52, if God willing, I am still here and blessed and still able to encourage folks in the next 7 to 8 years, guess what? There are going to be some things that's going to shift in my life, and I'm going to learn from them. I hope that as I get older, I'm getting wiser and I'm viewing things differently. That makes me a better person each day. Oh my God. But you know, some of us will sit back and think, It's like some people want y'all to stay stuck there and keep reliving things that the Lord done forgave you. When you don't went to the Lord and asked for forgiveness, and you're starting your first work over, and you're doing everything you need to do to be better, people still want you to be sitting there. They still want you to deal with what you did 20 years ago, and you done been past that. Now they still back there, but you done moved on. The Lord done bless you. You done learned from it, and you on to the next chapter and season in your life. But there are some people, they want you to still remember when you had a baby at 15, 16. Here you are, a 50-year-old woman God done blessed. You done been able to, you know, impart into your children, your grandchildren, and give them information that hopefully they won't repeat the mistakes you made. And here they are, here you is, a 50, 60, 70-year-old some odd woman, and they still want you to be back there when you was 15. Are you kidding me? I'm just telling you, that's just, unfortunately, that's just the nature of some people. They'll do that. They'll be that way. So anyway, like I said, again, when I was listening to her video, I said, oh my God. And I thought about it. I said, honey, you ain't saying nothing but a word. I get it. I get it. It's just like with me in my life. I made some hard decisions. It may not look popular to other people, but baby, I had to do what I had to do. For me. To get me together, to make sure that my latter years are greater than my former. I had to do something. I had to make some changes. And for some people, it may look like selfishness, but I had to make those changes. I had to make those adjustments so that things will work together for my good. And sometimes everybody ain't gonna like it. Everybody ain't gonna understand it. People, let me tell you something about people. Because as I'm listening to Jacqueline Hill, I thought, you know what? It's amazing. Some people could care less whether you enjoy your life as long as what you do keeps them enjoying theirs. Okay, come on here. Let me say that again. Long as you're doing things that you having to jump off the porch over the banister and land on your ankles and break both your ankles to help them. But the minute you stop doing that, oh honey, they got a problem with that. They got a problem with that. Because they want you to continue to jump off the porch and get the doctor bill. They want you to continue to jump over the banister and get dogged out. And have you, when the singing and all the champagne and bottles have been popped, now here you are at home trying to deal with all the stress. And then now you done started drinking again. Oh my God. And like I said, as I'm listening to her, I was listening to her and I was praying for her at the same time. And I said, you know, people just don't have a clue. Those people that believe in them different type of, I thought, my God, this woman has made a decision that she is shutting it down. Because it ain't but one me. I can't, but you know, it's pretty much what she said. I can't do nothing but do me. And when I cease to stop doing the things that I enjoy, that I have a passion about, I gotta shut it down. I gotta shut it down. And that's what she had to do that for her health, for her sanity. And that's what I think a lot of us need to remember and recognize. Oh, sure, you want to be successful. Oh, sure, you want to be part of and connected whether it be your family, your children. You want to be connected to something that's positive and progressive, and again, famous. But as soon as you make that decision that, you know what, I'm tapping out, don't want to do that no more. It doesn't bring me peace. It brings me more strife. I'm starting to drink again. I'm starting to do whatever that bad habit is. And that's the thing about life and knowledge. When you recognize things start having that hook in your mouth, again, like I was talking the other day, that carrot, when you recognize that life is doing you that way and it's not working together for your good, see, that's when you have to be able to recognize and make a change and be okay to be able to let everybody know. And they just gonna have to feel the way they're gonna have to feel. Because I got to be here for me. I got to have good health for me. So, like I said, Jacqueline would probably never see this video, don't know me from a can of paint. Sister, let me tell you something. Who am I to judge or look at you crazy? Because my God, if it won't be for God, can you imagine if we didn't serve and love a forgiving God, but we'll sit right around here and don't want to forgive folk, mad with folk, but yet we want the Lord to do all this stuff for us and forgive us. And he told us in his word, how can I forgive you and you don't even forgive your brother that you see every day, your sister every day? Not saying that you gotta, continue to be dogged out by them, or put yourself in a position where you always having to forgive because you done cussed them out because they done did something crazy. Know how to and learn how to separate yourself from among them so you won't have to be in that position where you're repenting and asking for forgiveness. Hello, somebody. See, that's how that go. And I don't blame Jacqueline. She don't want to have to keep every time something launch, something go to the left, she go to the left, and she got to go and apologize. And there's nothing wrong with apologizing. But honey, when that thing is not working for your good anymore, and see, that's the thing. That's where that for the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. See, if you love money so much, it's necessary and needed for us day by day. Absolutely. We know that. Jesus let us know money answers all things. But see, when you love money so much that you start doing things like what she was doing in the beginning when she said when that lunch went to the left and she went off to the right and then came back to the left on the people. See, the love of that money will cause you to do them type of things. And it'll make you evil. Because it's causing you to do things unorthodox. And cause people to look at you like, she done snap, crackle, and the pop. So again, like I said, I don't want to keep being redundant. Y'all know I can judge. But seriously though, again, when you're talking about doing things, having a passion about something, make sure that it's working together for your good. And yeah, you're going to have to put some hard work in it in the beginning. But when that thing ceases to it look like it's finna slaughter your whole household, yeah, you got to make some changes. And you have to be okay. Let me tell you something. And I've said this before. One of the best things I've learned in my life is learning how to get over people and what their thoughts of me, their faults. Now, of course, if it's good, constructive, and you need to ponder something, yeah, absolutely. But when you have done some stuff, oh, thou I offended my brother. Oh, thou I offended my sister. Let me fix that. And if that means I gotta totally shut things down and walk away from it, so I don't return, like I said last time, to that vomit, then do what you need to do. And if as long as you'll be okay financially or whatever, look, if you commit your work unto the Lord, he will establish that thing. And not only does he establish, he watches over it to perform, to make sure it's completed. See, that's the awesomeness of putting those things in the hand of the man with the plan. Oh my God. And that's Jesus, our God, oh Father. Commit that thing to the Lord and say, Lord, listen, I want to snap, crackle. Yeah. And God will provide a way of escape. And don't look at it as a failure. Just say, you know what? For that season of my life, I was doing the daggone thing. Every time you looked up, my product was on the shelf. But guess what? Lord, until you change the way I can react and interact with people so that I don't tear down my brand, provide a way of escape. And your escape that he gives you may not be the same that they give somebody else. And you know, and I get it. Even as an audience member of me, it was a sense of, oh no, I hate it that's happening. But see, the spirit woman in me said, oh, I understand. Jesus came down here he had a mission. And he necessarily didn't want to have to drink that cup. Didn't you hear him praying in the Garden of Gethsemane? And he got upset with his disciples when he went back and they weren't even praying for him. He found them asleep twice. He didn't want to drink of that cup, but he said, God, not my will, but thy will be done. So for her will in her life, and I don't know her religion standpoint or nothing. I'm just, y'all know me. I'm making it about, for those of you who are my viewers on this channel, when y'all ask those type of questions, well, what do I do? What do I commit that thing unto the Lord? And God would direct your path and give you that cup and say, okay, you're going to have to drink of this cup. And her cup was, for her, at this particular moment, she said, I'm shutting it down. And she came straight out. She said, you know, I thought about it. I really don't want to be a brand owner. It's a lot of work. And anything that can take away your joy, that was her cup that she had to drink. So, like I said, you know, I'm going to keep her in prayer. And, you know, like I said, she's got people around her, I guess, now that is, you know, going to walk her through this thing. And that's important, too. That's very important. And same way with us. When we walk this daily walk, let me tell you something. Sometimes this walk is not a crystal stair. But again, so whatever you're passionate about, do your research on it. In the natural and the practicality of things, do your research. Find out what your competition is. Find out what goes into it. Like I said, I peeped over in there a little bit to see everything. And you would think something that simple, whether it be t-shirts, cups, whatever. And yes, there are a lot of companies but yeah, you're going to pay a portion for them to do all of that. And then you have to counter the cost and say, and you know what? I might sell 20 t-shirts and I might get $100 profit, but look at what everything I had to go through. The customer got the t-shirt, and I'm not, like I said, some people they're cool with that. We know people are cool with that because guess what? E-commerce happens every day, all day. Goods and services are exchanged every day, good every day. But then there's a percentage of us, we don't want to be bothered. I'm one of them. So I get it. But then that you got people who are straight up, they got that entrepreneur spirit. They got that spirit to want to have their own. That's why I said your lot is not going to be the same as somebody else's lot. So whatever you want to pursue, you pursue it and commit that thing unto the Lord. That's the best advice I can tell people who are wanting to do anything, of knowing what to do and how to do it. Commit that thing unto the Lord and shut up and sit back and be willing to learn. Because, oh yeah, going back to that analogy, sit back, observe, listen, learn. But you got to sometime have the ability to go through the labor pains. A lot of people don't like to go through the labor pains. They just want to get that check. They want to get that money. They don't want to hear about the problems. They don't want to hear. They just show me the baby. Did the baby got the 2 eyes, 2 ears, lips, all their fingers? That's all some people just want to know. But when you're in business, baby, you got to deal with the labor pains. You got to deal. You might be in labor for 1 hour, or you might be in labor for 72 hours, baby. You got to know that that's part of the process. And you got to be willing to go through the process to get to the baby. Some women, I've heard some women, honey, they didn't even really go through labor. They may have went through labor for an hour and their baby just went plop. But that's their experience. Your experience may not be that. It may not be that. So anyway, y'all, again, Jacqueline, I hope and pray everything will go well. And I get it. I totally get it. And then I also get it for those women who are doing the daggone thing, who are out there with their businesses. They were able to springboard off of YouTube, and honey, they've been springboarding on and on, and they're building empires. You know, and they're doing very well. But they also there's an element to that as well. And people will continue to be lucrative and do great. So anyway, all right, y'all, that's enough of me jaw-jacking about that. See you later. God bless you, and may the peace of the Lord be with you. Bye, y'all.